Alright, so here is the old hub and rotor assembly. The weird thing about 2002s is you have to take off the hub in order to take off the rotor. And as you can see, it's actually really easy. It's not torqued down hard or anything like that. The cotter pin just stops that nut from coming out. So now what I need to do is get the hub disconnected from this rotor by taking off 4 Allen bolts behind here. And that'll let me pop the hub off the rotor. And while I was doing that, I'm actually also painting the other hub. I actually masked off all the delicate sections and sandblasted it. I'm doing everything on the other side first, just so then I kind of know how to do it, and then I film it on that side. So yeah, let's go disassemble this hub, get the bearings out, take the grease out, and then get that one ready for paint. Here's the seal, old seal. There. Now I'm gonna clean out all the grease in here, and then when I go and put in the new bearings, I'm gonna put in some new grease. So, yep. Alright, so now here's the hub all painted. Earlier I accidentally didn't mask off this inside area, so I had to go get Scotch-Brite and get that paint off, but it shouldn't be an issue because the bearing is actually going to be sitting on this inner race right here. And you can see I kind of got a little bit of paint on the race, but I'm going to be replacing the race right now. What that is basically where the bearing sits on. So these are the old bearings right here. You can kind of see that they're kind of cone shaped, and that cone shape lets it sit inside the race nicely. Because these are, I think they're called roller bearings. They're not spherical bearings. They're like long bars, which I'll show you later. And there's also another one over here, a slightly bigger one. To replace these, which by the way, they include new ones inside of the bearing kit, but you'll notice that there's a little notch inside there. There's 2 notches. And those 2 notches lets you put like a chisel in there, and then lets you hammer it out. So I can easily just put this face down, put a chisel in those notches, and then I can alternate the taps and hits with the hammer so that it can come out nice and easily. So same thing for this side. I think you could see it right there. There's one there and one there. So I'm gonna go do that carefully, and hopefully all goes well. So that's how you do it. It looks like it didn't really damage the side either, so I should be good. So time to get this other side. And there you go. That's how you get out the races. A big huge tip when you're gonna install the new races, this is the old one, but you want to store it inside of a freezer because it kind of shrinks it just a little bit and it makes installing it into the hub a whole lot easier. And another thing you're gonna need is a set like this. So this is a bearing race and seal driver set that you could rent from AutoZone or any other auto parts store near you. So the way it works is you just put down a deposit for the price of the whole kit, and then within 2 days you just have to return it, and then they give you your full deposit back. That's what I did. It is used, so some of them were a little bit messed up, so just keep that in mind. But anyways, so I'm gonna go get the new races out of the freezer and then tap it in to here. And before I do that, I'm gonna add a little bit of grease to it so that it slides in a little bit better. And yeah. Alright, so now that the new races are in, I'm going to go fill the inside of the hub with a couple fingerfuls of grease, and then I can pack the bearings with grease, put those in, put the seal in the back, and then it should be pretty much ready to get thrown into the car. So let's go finish that.
He asked me if I knew about time travel, and she wrote a book about it, so it can't be like a coincidence, right?
Donnie, what did Roberta Sparrow say to you?
So I'm going to start by installing the rear bearing, which is the one I consider at the back of the hub. To do this, or to pack this with grease, you have to get a glob of grease, like so, put it into your palm, and then you get this piece, and then you kind of scoop it up into the bearing, and then you keep doing that until it oozes out to the top, because you just want to make sure that it gets filled in throughout the entire bearing. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep doing this. It's pretty messy, but if you have gloves, it's a lot better. And then I'm going to obviously like roll it around a couple times, make sure that it's all covered. But this is definitely really important, because if you just throw in a dry bearing, then you know, it'll get messed up, scored, and it won't spin nicely. So definitely want to do this.
It reminded me of my dog, Callie. She died when I was 8. She crawled underneath the porch.
And I don't know if you need to do this, but I'm just going to put a little bit of grease on the inside of the seal. Not sure if you really need to, but I'm just going to do it just to be safe. I don't know what this would do anyways, but I feel like you can't really go wrong with this.
it anymore. It's absurd.
Do you feel alone right now?
The porch. The porch. It's absurd.